All right, guys, welcome back to another video with Carl's Garage. In today's video, I'm going to go over my viral video that's going on. Well, I just shredded content's going viral, and the same video is going viral over here on Carl's Garage. It's a smaller channel, but once you see your analytics start to do this right here and go straight up, especially over this, your video is headed into that viral thing. I just want to read a couple comments real quick, make this video real quick. I have a 29-minute video over there on shredded content, so go ahead and check that out. But again, I just want to read some comments because a lot of people are kind of upset about this video. Oh, Kia is not that bad, da da da. Here's some guy. It must have been American-made models down under. Kia has a good name, but they all come from South Korea. I said F Kia. Yeah, F the American-made models suck the most part. Carl's Garage down under we used to assemble different makes and models, but also brought in few fully built up, made in Japan. These models are also, anyway, anybody defending Hyundai, Kia, especially when somebody like, I've been doing it for 5 years telling you guys, stop buying these cars, they're shit. And then with the car wizard, he's going viral saying the same thing because people with Hyundais, Kias, and Genesis keep coming to him and he's having to turn them away. I'm not going to touch your car. I can't touch your car because if I touch your car, I'm going to void your warranty of you even potentially maybe getting your engine replaced by them. I can't touch your car. That's the biggest thing about the Kia Hyundai engines. Once your engine goes out, they can't touch your car. Got somebody else here. I lost my book I bought a while back. Can you resend it? Or do I need to purchase it again? I said, if you bought a book from me, it's in your email. And then he said, I keep looking for it. It says, I cleaned up my inbox. Yeah, what do you mean you lost your book? It's an email. So why would you delete? That doesn't even make sense. People just be saying dumb shit. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Even after the lawsuit settlement, they didn't make their vehicles any better. Even the highly acclaimed 2022, 2024 Tellurides are bad. Another lawsuit coming. Then how do they get away with it if it's true they're all drunk? What do you mean? Here's the recall on the Hyundai Palisade right here. I had to show this in my last video, straight to the content. In fact, I'll leave this for the thumbnail for this one. Yeah, there's active recalls on all these vehicles. Here's the active recall right now on the EVs, and there's also a class action lawsuit in California. I have videos of that on these channels as well, here on Straight to the Content and Carl's Garage. You just got to do your own research. You're asking me questions of something that already exists. So for you to type in this question lets me know you're too lazy to type it into Google and actually see. All I did was type it into Google right here. The new Palisades, they have, valve springs. Valve springs may break while driving. No different than a rod bearing or a piston ring. They're all jacked up motors. It doesn't matter the year. And it doesn't matter if it's gas or EV. They're all shit. And this guy right here, he has a success story. So I really wanted to read this and make this video about this. I'll try to read it as fast as possible because I told this guy that I would read it. So shout out to you, JSATI. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little closer because I have bad eyes. I have a success story. I purchased a guide and it was great reference material when the time came it was needed. By reference material and a guide, he purchased a Kia Hyundai engine handbook, the book that I created to help you get your engine replaced. So this is his actual story, and as you guys can see, this is how big it is. So definitely come on over to this video. I'll put and check out this video right here, worst car ever, and you will see this right here. It's a real story. 2016 Hyundai Sonata, 2.4 liter GDI engine, 136,000 miles. That's a Theta 2 engine, non-turbo. KSDS update performed early in the recall campaign. Engine oil filter always changed by myself, no more than 3,000 miles intervals. I need to start doing that on my Lexus because I'm not gonna lie, I do be like pushing the oil interval changes. Even though I use this new I've always used full synthetic, and then I use this new oil that like cleans piston rings and stuff like that. I still shouldn't risk it. It's just not smart. The vehicle had oil consumption issues, about a quarter oil every 500 miles needed to be added. Yep, that's gonna happen regardless of how well you do your oil changes, that's still gonna happen. Started off slower, around a quart every 1,000 miles when I started taking note. One time, if continued to get worse. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just reading that. He meant one time it continued to get worse, I believe, over carbonated up combustion rings. That's not it. Using the engine oil as Valvoline restore and protect my alternative. I don't know. This issue, or at least reduce it, all a separate issue and completely unrelated, information only. Yep. He's right. All of that has nothing to do with it. Driving at 65 miles an hour, the engine just died. 0 engine RPM, coasted to a safe spot. Vehicle had power, but would not restart. No warning, no check engine light, no rod knock, no limp mode from the KSDS update. I figured the engine had locked up from the following recall info and Carl's Garage. Called for a out of town tow reason. Engine died to start, no start condition, $400 and charge out of pocket for a tow back home. Okay, you towed it back home instead of to the dealership. It was Sunday and the Hyundai dealership was closed. You could still possibly, sometimes you could tow it to their lot. Otherwise, I would have just left it there and you have a few days to leave your car. Or maybe, I don't know, I'm in Texas. Because I know sometimes you can leave your car for like up to 24 hours on the highway. I know sometimes the tow people will be like, nah, you can't. But I know sometimes you can get your car tagged. And if you schedule a tow like the next day, you can leave it there when the dealership opens and you can tow it there. Called the dealer Monday morning and mentioned my vehicle had died and I should have the engine recall on it for a replacement. I was told over the phone that I had no engine recall on my vehicle. At this point, I ended the call. Now, encountering issues, I reference all my handbook guide and PDF information. I gathered KSDS recall information confirming I had it completed and dates. Now this leads into Hyundai Kia Theta engine class action lawsuit, like I've been telling you guys. My vehicle was involved in the class action over engines locking up. To be eligible, the vehicle had to have the KSDS update, which it did. Lifetime engine replacement, if it seizes up. I printed my KSDS recall and paperwork, as well as the lawsuit settlement documentation and facts. He's a very smart man. And this is why I created the book, for you to print out the stuff that I give you and walk in there and tell me you're full of shit, replace my engine. The following morning, I called the dealership back, but instead of just vaguely saying I have an engine recall for engine replacement, I gave them the specifics. I told them my vehicle had died while driving. Its year, make, and model. I had the KSDS recall update information on X date. My vehicle was involved in class action lawsuit, and part of the settlement, I received a lifetime powertrain warranty on the vehicle, and at this point, I would like to start the process of an engine replacement. He is on point. This time, they took me a little more serious and told me I could get the vehicle dropped off anytime, but it would be 2 weeks before I could get it looked at. I was told it would be about $200 diagnostic charge. However, if it was covered under warranty, it was at no cost. As I mentioned, the vehicle consumed oil and it was maybe a half a quart low. I topped it off for good measures, which is very smart, because if you bring that thing there with a little quart of oil, they're gonna be like, no, we can't do it. The following morning, I had it towed locally to the dealer and incurred another $100 tow bill. So you're already in at $500, which is crazy. But you can get that money back. There's ways that you can get the money back if you spent money on your engine, or if you spent money on a process to get your engine replaced. Dealer did not offer me a loaner during the 2 weeks waiting period. Also because the vehicle was just sitting and not approved claim at the point, I did not want to get a rental out of my own pocket, although that may have been expensive for some. I was able to work out transportation needs for the 2 weeks period. 2 weeks go by and I'm in contact with the dealership. They get the vehicle in on Monday and their technician stated the engine had in fact locked up. On the repair order, they note that both the engine was seized and that the engine had oil in it. I believe these are required questions for the claim. I was told that even though the engine was locked up, the manufacturer was requesting additional information. On my repair order, I believe this was due to lack of maintenance records. They had records prior to 45,000 miles when I purchased the vehicle, no maintenance records on file from 45,000 to 133. The repair order requested photos of internals. The dealership sent the required photos in and told me they were waiting on the decision from the manufacturer. I'm assuming here, but if you do long interval oil changes or just lack of engine maintenance in general, that is pretty easy to tell with photos of internal engine sludge. It just depends. There's so much that goes into that. I'm not even going to get into that, but it just depends. At this point, because I'll give you a prime example right now. I went from 29,000 to 120,000 miles. I don't always change my oil at the correct intervals, but right now I'm using a new oil that actually cleans up piston rings and stuff like that. So the oil that I'm using currently, as long as I continue to use the same oil, regardless of the intervals, it's going to clean my pistons. So my engine internally is going to look new, regardless of the intervals in which I'm doing the oil change. At this point, due to the guidebook, it states a vehicle cannot be denied solely on not providing maintenance records, so I am ready with the document if needed. This guy is the man. The following day, I contacted the dealership and was told the manufacturer approved the warranty replacement. I was told it would be a few days to a week to get the engine in and than time to get it scheduled for repair. I'm so glad this guy took the time to type all this out. So I'm actually going to cut out this video and also put it on straight to the content as well. Now knowing I was officially approved for the warranty replacement and knowing the settlement said the dealership can provide a loaner if requested, I requested a loaner, was told they did not have anything available and to check the following day and they should have one available. Wednesday rolls around and I called to check the availability of a loaner and they said they would have. This time I was told another customer was ahead of me and again, no loaner vehicle. That afternoon, I contacted Hyundai customer care service and got a customer care agent dedicated to my process initially for the dealership not being able to provide a loaner as the settlement says they should provide. As I reread the settlement, it stated that if the dealer could not provide a loaner, then Hyundai covers rental reimbursement for roughly $40 a day. That is very true. That evening, I had a rental car being paid. I had a rental car being paid for out of pocket. My research told me the manufacturer should cover reimbursement due to the dealership not being able to provide a loaner. Over the following few days, I stayed in contact with the customer care representative assigned to my vehicle throughout the process. Made them aware that I currently have a rental due to the dealer not being able to provide one, and I would be seeking reimbursement for the final cost of my rental amount. Late in the week, I was contacted by the dealership and was told my engine was in and they would try to get me scheduled, but they had recommended numerous additional repairs to my vehicle to the tune of roughly $2,000. And that's exactly what these sons of bitches will do. They know they have to replace everything, fluids, catalytic converter, all that stuff for free, and they still try to stick it to you because they don't make any money every time they have to replace your engine. And they're also replacing it with a used engine that's going to go out again. That's why there's a lifetime engine warranty. This includes brakes, fluids, like I told you, filters, heater hose, drive belt, packaging. That itself was roughly $1,000. I denied this recommended work. And again, what's crazy is they'll slap your shit together and then who knows what they might leave loose or something like that. These guys are scumbags. The following day, I was contacted again by the dealership. This time I was asked if I want to perform a heater hose and dry belt replacement package. That was $1,000. I told them no. I was then informed by the dealership that by not performing the heater hose and dry belt package, that this voids any future warranty on the new engine. I believe this to be an accurate statement. As you mentioned, the lifetime warranty of the settlement of for life with no exclusions. Again, I denied the heater hose and dry belt package. I believe that was just a scare tactic, an attempt to rake in some additional cash for repair. Yes, and I'm so glad that you stood your ground. I appreciate that. That's the reason why I'm taking the time to actually read this whole thing, because you took the time to type it, I'll take the time to read it. It took a dealer another week and a half to get my vehicle scheduled with a technician and complete the job. As part of the job, they also do a test on the starter. When the engine lock up, it's really hard on the starters following attempts. Mine had failed the test and the dealer replaced my starter assembly as well under warranty. I was told by the dealership that the new engine was not a junkyard, wrecked vehicle, or used vehicle engine. I was told the new engine is remanufactured with new components, and after new repairs, they do not see the vehicles back in for the same issue. I am not sure how much I believe the statement. However, that's full of shit. Plenty of people contact me telling me that their second engine blew. I literally have a video on here with Carl's Garage talking to a family who own a vehicle that already had its engine replaced, and now they're on a second engine. Go check out that video. There's a couple out in California. Once I had the vehicle back, I requested reimbursement for my tolls incurred with the repair, as well as reimbursement on my rental vehicle per the class action settlement. Receipts had to be sent via email. My toll rental reimbursement was covered 100%. Long, I know. I wanted to try and help guide anyone in a similar situation on the process. Take the time and invest in the handbook guide. It is really worth the convenience of having everything you need to inform yourself right at your fingertips. Then take the time to watch a few related videos and you will at least have all the information you need on your end to be well informed and hopefully not taken advantage of. Moral of the story, do not buy a Hyundai, Kia, Genesis, and hopefully you will not have to deal with any of these, with any of this. Thank you so much. I'm going to pin this and I'm going to tell you that I just read your entire comment. Just read your entire comment on this video, and we'll post it here, and we'll make another video using this and post it on Straight Outta Content. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. So again, get the book. You can get the book right here. Type in Carl's Garage. Boom, go right here. I'll put the link in the description. The link is already in the description. Click the book, get the handbook right here. It's going to give you access to, where's my book right here? Here, boom, boom, pull this up, boom, boom. It's going to give you everything that he's talking about is all right here. So this is the actual book. Scroll up, scroll down, this is the actual book. I designed all this myself. It's the whole book right here. And then it's gonna come with all the documents that you need to print out, walk in there and slap them in the face and say, no, you have to replace my engine. Here's all this information right here. Here's the actual class action lawsuit that he's referring to with all the answers that you need. Again, go right now, click the link in the description, get the book, because there's nothing better than an actual testimony. This is a real life story, and he followed it to the T. And as long as you follow it to the T, you will get your engine replaced as well. So thank you, sir. I truly appreciate it. And I hope to talk to you soon. Please email me if you see this video, and stay tuned for the next one.